Good evening, Professor.
Hello, good evening. I'm sorry. Did you connect right now?
No, yeah. No, don't worry about that.
Yeah, I was connected, but I accidentally closed the meeting.
No,
Okay,
don't worry.
how
I'm on.
about did you took the test, quizzes and everything?
Yeah, everything, everything. I'm,
Okay,
I'm,
great.
I'm also, Professor. I'm so sorry, and my apologies for Friday. With work, I had another trouble, and yeah, it was. I was in the Sillar. Uh,
Okay.
it was disgusting. 3 hours there, and I was, oh my god. I thought 1 hour can finish that. I come back at home. I got at home at 12 a.m. It
Oh
was,
yeah.
yeah, the Sillar was so bad, but okay.
That it's of course it's very far, right? It is far from the city,
Yeah, from Cochabamba. I went to Chapare, and yeah, in the
but it
meantime,
was like highland, altiplano, in the mountain maybe.
Sillar? No, it's
Yeah,
a
no.
tropic.
But you sent me a picture.
Yeah, no, the last time. Yeah, it was for another project. Our,
Yeah, okay,
yeah, our two projects. The first one is for uh, Eduardo Avaroas Reserve, and the
okay.
other is in Chapare with Yuki population, yeah, indigenous people, Yukis.
Interesting. It is in
Mm.
the forest.
Yeah, it's a challenge. Yeah.
Wow. What kind of project? Environmental as well, or?
Environmental and human rights. So yeah, it's my,
Oh,
yeah. Mm.
that's interesting.
Professor. Today I was so confused. We finish everything, so today is like our last class, or what we're gonna
Yeah,
do
this is our last class today. We're supposed to finish
on Friday, right?
on
I thought
Friday,
that.
but yeah, they told us to the teachers that today is gonna be the last class.
Okay, and when we're going to start the new model?
Probably tomorrow.
Tomorrow directly, or
Probably.
on
I
Wednesday?
didn't.
Because on Tuesday and Thursdays always is for calling.
Mhm. Yeah, probably on Wednesday, but she didn't tell me about that.
And tomorrow also, Professor, you are going to give us like the
Not really.
course.
Yeah, they told me that today is gonna be the last class.
Okay.
Yeah, and only that. I don't know why. I suppose they have some reasons to do it, but they told me that only to. Yeah, okay. So we're gonna start with something different today. I was thinking in doing some grammar reviews about. I don't know if you if you personally want to review something about grammar about during this lesson or some others. I don't know.
Mm, not per se. Maybe just I have here something. Maybe, yeah, the last unit that was about the models. When
Hmm.
when we use the models with the perfect tenses. Yeah, it is my thought.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do it. Models. I have models. Different kind of models. But models of obligation. I don't know if we have seen that one. Okay.
Yeah, we,
Let's.
we saw the might, mon with the have be and the terms of possibility. Yeah, if we can.
Yeah, I remember that also. Yeah, right. Must, should, or all of those things. Yeah. And let me see. This is another one. Yeah, models for present. You mean present perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, over here I think I have some. Yeah. Let me share, please. This one. Oh, but probably the your classmates don't know about.
Maybe if you write in the message.
Yeah. It's a bit weird because I thought that well, what's going on? Let me write, please. Well, just in case, I'm gonna send them the link.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because today I had a busy day. I was with yeah, I mentioned right. I'm teaching metal cast metallurgy,
Ah, yeah.
and today we were casting metals.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
making aluminum. Sometimes we do brass, and sometimes or bronze, and sometimes we cast iron. But to cast iron is not easy. It's very a big challenge.
And it's good for the health? I don't think so. Or yeah.
Good question. Yeah, of course you have to use all the safety equipment to work with that.
Okay.
Yeah, but the important thing is that maybe from the point of view of metallurgy is the idea is to produce to produce and yeah, but as I'm studying environmental engineering, it's yeah, I have different point of view now. It's a bit not confusing, but it's interesting. So yeah, of course, I have to be more responsible with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more industrial. So from the point of view, eye of industry is a bit different. From the eye of environment is very different. Okay, so let's check it out. This hello, welcome to the class. Karen, how are you?
Hi, teacher. Good evening. Hi, Lucia.
Good evening.
Hi,
Teacher,
Karen.
I was trying until now with my computer, but
Okay,
my computer, I don't know. It don't it
yeah, is it
well
still with?
right yes, I can turn on my
Mm,
computer. So right now I'm from my cell phone.
okay. No worries. I will send, I think, tomorrow the scores. Until what time was the test, by the way?
8:11,
It's something.
Mm,
8 something, yes.
yeah, okay. Let me do because if in order to extend, I have to do before. Otherwise, there's gonna be a big problem. Just a moment, please. I
Ye-
will
Yes,
extend
teacher,
the time.
because right now I try, well, I am trying to enter to person with my cell phone, and I I try to see if, because I was taking the test, and then my
Mm.
computer crashed, and I don't know if I can take again the test. I will verify it right
Yeah,
now.
if you don't save, no, I think you have to finish. Otherwise, but let's see. I'm trying to get in. But before I have to change that before the time. Otherwise, yeah, otherwise I have to create a different one, and I think it's not the idea. Okay, I have 2 more minutes. Just sorry, Lucia.
No, it's okay. Don't worry.
Okay, wow, 1 minute. But I don't think it's sharp at till 8, right? Maybe we still have some time. I hope so. Okay, there is this one. I think I have a couple of seconds to fix this, to extend, if it's until 8 o'clock. Modular test, modular test. Okay. So, no, assignments. Yeah, this one. Okay, here we go. Oh, yeah, 8 o'clock, but I will change that until, yeah, let's say until tomorrow. Oh, yes. Yeah, I almost, now is extended, no worries. Okay, yeah, well, anyway, okay, but you can do until tomorrow, no worries, but I think until tomorrow at noon, I think I will send the score. So you can do in the morning. I think you will fix your computer's problem until tomorrow morning. So let's
Yes,
start,
yes,
please.
thank you.
You're welcome. Well, talking about models also, models have a special treatment, especially when we talk about advanced combinations. Like, look at this one. There can't be many people in the world who haven't watched television. Uh, do you remember this movie?
Is George?
George?
Of
Maybe
the, sorry?
George
George.
or
Yes,
not?
right? George
George
of
from
the Jungle.
Jungle. Yeah.
George of the Jungle. Yeah. But I think I remember this part when he's watching TV, right, for the first time, and he believes everything that TV says, especially the commercials of coffee. And he becomes very hyperactive, and he climbs the a very big bridge, right? Something like that. I remember that. But anyway, that was like there can't be many people in the world who haven't watched television. For example, this is a combination with present perfect, right? Yeah, but can you cook rather than are you able to cook, right? It's much better to use can you cook. But be able to is also not a model, but is something similar. Okay, not similar, but it's equivalent, but much better to ask can and could, especially for questions, for ability, right? In the present, we use can and could, especially for present can, right? Can you cook, can you swim, or something like that. But usually we don't say, are you able to cook, right? That's a quite not weird, but I can say if you ask somebody, are you able to cook? It's like maybe you're asking to a baby or to a handicapped person or disabled person, right? Much better to say, can you cook? Yeah. Not are you able to cook? Okay, so let's continue. We're gonna talk about some examples of model, but talking about models, Hello, hello. We can talk, can, could, and be able to, right? Talking about ability. As I mentioned at the beginning, it's much better to ask questions with can you to ask about abilities. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the class.
Good
Okay.
evening.
Hello, Nazarena. How are you? By the way, this is the last class. So I wanted to mention also that I extended the test. It was until 8 o'clock, the modular test in the Pearson's platform. But I extended to for you to do until tomorrow morning. So okay, just in case if you didn't do that. Well, this one is, let's continue with this grammar. We use be able to instead of can and could to talk about ability, right? However, we avoid be able to. This example, can you read, please, Nazarena? Watch me.
Okay, watch me. Mom, I can stand on one leg. Not, I am able to stand on one leg.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, when we talk about something that is happening as we speak in the moment of, or the action is going on, the action is happening, the action happens, we're gonna use I can, we can, not I'm able, okay? It's at the moment of something is happening. And that's why I can stand on one leg, not I'm able to. Be able to is a bit different. And also before passives, passive voice. Can you read the second example, Karen, please? Or maybe Lucia, this one. I don't know if you can see
Teacher,
my.
teacher, I was talking, but my microphone.
Ah, okay, maybe you.
Yeah, sorry. CDs can now be copied easily, rather than CDs are not able to be copied. I read
Okay.
the second when the meanings is now how to.
Yeah, yes, continue, please.
When the meaning is now how to.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, thanks. Before passive voice, CDs can now be copied easily. We don't say CDs now are, sorry, CDs are now able to be copied. And also when the meaning is now how to, can you cook, right? Or something present ability, we say, are you able to cook, right? Well, let's continue. But usually, maybe you say, when do we use be able to, right? But if we talk about a single achievement rather than a general one, in the past we usually use be able to rather than could, for example. Maybe Lucia, could you help me reading this one?
Sue could play the flute quite well, or was able to a general ability, and she swam strongly and was able to cross the river easily, even though it was swollen by the heavy rain. Now she swam strongly and could cross a specific achievement.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, over here, if we talk about something that is a single achievement, a single, not ability, achievement, something similar maybe, rather than a general ability in the past. So usually we say Sue could play the flute quite well, or also it's possible to say, right, was able to in the past. And she swam strongly and was able to cross the river. Yeah, this is a kind of achievement. Usually, when we talk about achievements, we use usually be able to. Okay, it's more common to use in achievements. Being able to. That is with verb be. It's not a modal verb, but it's equivalent. Sometimes we use the can or could or be able to. But in this case, especially in achievements, we use this. Or if we talk about a general ability, rather than a general ability in the past, but in this case, an achievement. However, could is usually more natural. Of course, at the beginning of, I don't know, learning grammar, usually we only talk about can and could. We don't usually use be able to, but because that's why we say, can you do this? Could you do that? Right? Present and past. But in negative sentences, I try to get up, but I couldn't move, rather than I wasn't able to move. In negatives, usually it's couldn't. With verbs of the sentences, for example, feel, hear, see, smell, taste, usually we consider those verbs also a non-action. Also with thinking, right? Believe, decide, remember, and understand. We're gonna use this one. Could, right? I could remember the crash, but nothing after that, rather than I was able to remember. Right? Okay, usually could in the past. But if we talk about a single achievement rather than a general ability in the past, we usually use be able to rather than could. Could you read this, please? All of this, Nazarena?
Okay, teacher. Since after?
Yes.
Okay. After the process, the only thing plays time, and after all, when it means the only thing. All we could see were his feet, rather than all we were able to suggest that something almost didn't happen, particularly with almost hardly, just nearly. I could nearly touch the ceiling rather than I was nearly able to.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, and over here, after the phrases, the only thing or place or time, after all, when it means the only thing. In that case, we could. And to suggest that something almost didn't happen, particularly with almost hardly or just nearly. For example, I could nearly touch the ceiling rather than I was able to. Usually could, right? And to talk about the theoretical possibility of something happening, we use could, not can. Okay. However, we use can, not could, to say that something is possible and actually happens. For example, what is the difference among these two examples? It could be expensive to keep a cat. If we had one, it could or it may not be expensive, and it can be expensive to keep a cat. It can be, and it sometimes is. Okay, yeah, it could be. Yeah, if we compare could and can, right? But usually, in general, we say can is for present or current abilities, and could is for the past. But in this case, something is possible and actually happens, right? In if we use can, and that's why we use can. But in the other hand, could is not really, right? It's not. Of course, it could happen, but probably we don't have a cat or something like that. But it's not how can I say this? Yeah, if we use can is of course for a real possibility and could probably not. And we use can't, not couldn't, to say that something is theoretically or actually impossible. Of course, right? But much better to say can't. Could you read for me, please, this, Lucia, both of these?
Teacher, before Lucia reads, I don't understand the difference between the two first sentence,
Yeah.
the example for the cat. So yes, I don't understand the difference because for me is the same,
Mhm.
but in other words, I don't know.
Yeah. Usually, when we talk about could or can, we say that is similar. The meaning is very similar, but only sometimes we say the intensity, right? Can is stronger than could or something like that. But in this case, if we talk about possibilities, right? If we talk about possibilities, could is something that is not possible to happen. But if we use can is possibly it can really happen. But could is for something that is not very possible to happen. What we say. For example, it could be expensive to keep a cat, right? It could be or not. It depends. But if I say it can be expensive to keep a cat, I mean, or what I wanna say, probably it can be, and it sometimes is. It's stronger than could. It's more possible to happen.
Professor, also, sorry, Carrie.
No worries. Continue, continue.
Professor, also, the difference between could and can could be that can is something that happens in the present, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, could is like more like a dream or like an advice. It depends on the context, or I don't know which other are the clues.
Mm, yeah. For the past possibility can be also, but in this case, yeah, it could be like it could be expensive, but it can be expensive. As you said, it's not very possible to happen when we say could. It depends. It's just, of course, we are talking about the same, right? Keep a cat.
Yeah.
When something really happens, we use definitely can. And when something usually doesn't happen, we can use could. That's only the difference.
All right. So I'm gonna continue with the sentences
Yes,
that you say.
please.
Um, we use can and not couldn't to say that something is theoretically or actually impossible. There can be many people in the world who haven't watched television. The doctor can't see you this morning. He's busy at the hospital.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. When we want to say that something is impossible, always use can't, not could. Couldn't. Okay, couldn't can tell us that I don't know. Sometimes could happen. Yeah, but can't is stronger, of course, and it's impossible to happen. That's only the difference. Much better. But sometimes we say couldn't, right? But couldn't is not impossible. It's something that could happen. Okay, but in the next example, we use can to indicate that there is a very real possibility of a future event happening. Using could suggest that something is less likely to, or that there is some doubt about it. We can stay with Jim in Oslo. Okay, there's a very real possibility, right? We could stay with Jim in Oslo. It's possible if he's there, but if he's not, no, right? Because if I say we can stay with Jim in Oslo, I mean Jim is living. I know that Jim is there, is living there. Probably I'm in touch with that person, and I can visit. We can visit him and stay with him, right? But if I say we could stay with Jim in Oslo, probably I know that Jim lives there, but I'm not sure if we travel there, he's gonna be there. Okay, that's the difference, right? Only if he's there. If he's not, no. You get it, this one, right? Yeah, the difference among could, can, and could. Okay, and to say that in the past someone had general permission to do something, that is to do it at any time. We can use either or either could or were allowed to. However, to talk about permission, allowed to is also possible. It's very common in English. It's not allowed that to do that. It is allowed to do that. For one particular past action, we use were allowed to. Okay, but not could. Uh, for example, let's say if you visit into a museum or into a museum gallery, probably imagine there are a lot of paintings. I don't know if you have visited the Coins House of Potosi. Have you visited? Or maybe something similar? Some museums?
Yeah. I've been there.
Okay, there are old paintings, right? Like, let's say flamingo style, some old school, and I don't know. Usually there's gonna be, what do you think is better to say? Like, you couldn't take pictures or is not allowed to take pictures. What is better to say? What do you think?
It's not a law.
Yeah,
Not
it's not
allowed.
allowed. Yes, yeah, thank you. It's not allowed, right? But also in the past we can say it was when I okay, yeah, maybe you can say as Lucia was there and she can say it was not allowed to take pictures, right? But you cannot say it couldn't be allowed. Much better to say it was not allowed or it were not. But look at this. Mm, anyone was allowed to fish in the lake when the council owned it. And although he didn't have a ticket, Ken was allowed to come in. Not could come in. Okay, in this example is probably is separated, but no, it must be just one, right? Anyone was allowed to fish in the lake when the council owned it, right? Or could fish in this case. But um, although he didn't have a ticket, Ken was allowed to come in. Yeah, in that case is in a particular past action. Okay, in this case we use was allowed, right? And in negative sentences, we can use either couldn't or wasn't or weren't allowed to say that permission. Permission was not given in general or particular simulations. For example, we couldn't or weren't allowed to open the presents until Christmas morning. Okay. Yeah, we're allowed to and could, depending on the context, we can use any of them. especially when we talk about a general permission. But for some particular actions, much better to use was, right? Was allowed or were allowed. Okay, I had that one. So we can still check out some what's that? Grammars, about grammar, about can and could. That was the last one, right? The last grammar section of. Yeah, we did right. Models of speculation. Yeah, models is, if we check about models, models are, there are different ways of using models. Okay, we share with you please one I was thinking here. Sorry, it's okay, this one. Okay, what do models have in common? For example, yeah, can you see my slide?
Yes, teacher.
Okay, thanks. Over here, we cannot use to infinitive after models, right? I must leave son. No, right? To is impossible to use. Models have the same form of all persons. No, yes, right? She can. So we cannot say that. She can dance very well. Also, we cannot use two models in one verb phrase. I will must take the exam again. No, right? Impossible to use two models in one sentence or in one phrase. And models cannot be put in different tenses like ordinary full verb. Also, there is no ing form. You cannot use in past. He should study more now, right? It's a total mistake. Each modal verb has a basic meaning of its own. Other auxiliaries like be, do, have only grammatical function. And of course, how to form questions and negatives. Can I, could I, right? Will he, would she? Negatives. I cannot, I can't. Yeah, we might not, right? Even I don't know. There is no must. Mustn't is not very common. Usually only in speaking. Of course, the contractions or informal speech, right? But also related verbs are used, especially talking about ability, right? As we were checking out previously, like be able to. But present ability or real, oh, sorry, yes, present ability. In this case is can I can ride a bike, right? Can you speak Japanese or something? He'll be able to be. Oh, he'd like to be able to. He would like to be able to dance. So will you be? Will you able to? Will you be able to come sooner? So also it's possible to use be able to. Right? I was able to. I could sing very well when I was a child, but I was able to sing very well when I was a child. Finally, they were able to rescue her. To talk about general ability in the past, general ability we use could, couldn't, or was able to. A specific action achievement in the past, we use was able to, were able to, right? A specific achievement. General ability is just could, couldn't, was able to. Okay. We cannot use for specific actions or achievements. It's impossible to use could, right? Only was able to. That was the other presentation's explanation, right? Maybe it was not very clear, but over here we can see general ability in the past could, right? Couldn't or was able to. A specific action achievement in the past only was able, but that can be very usually in tests are very common to find this kind of tricky questions. You can say, I don't know, the question can be like, I could play the guitar, right? When I was 7 years old, I don't know, something like that. It's in the past, right? But I could run. I don't know. I could run 10 kilometers without stopping. Oh, sorry, without stop, without a rest. That's not correct, right? In that case, you can say I was able to run 10 miles or 10 kilometers without stop. So something like that. Sometimes it turns a bit tricky because they can put some options there to in order to rediscover to try to understand, right? You got that right? That example, a specific action or achievement in the past was able or were able, like the example that I mentioned. I was able to run 10 kilometers without a stop, without any stop. I can say something like that because I cannot say I can or I could, right? No, only where was able to or were able to. Okay, and modals and related verbs used to talk about permission. Of course, can I, could I, may I, right? And talking about may or might is may especially is very formal. And be allowed to. You're allowed to stay up late. Modals and related verbs, oh sorry, in prohibition or prohibition, mustn't, right? You mustn't smoke here. Not be allowed to, you're not allowed to smoke here. Not to be permitted, also is possible for prohibition. Be forbidden to, you're forbidden to smoke here. Or smoking is prohibited. Yeah, these are some prohibitions, modals, and other related verbs. And for obligation, you know, we were checking about that also. Must, right? Must go to the, you must, I must go to the dentist. Have to, right? We have to change our shoes. Have got to, gotta change it. Yeah, used in everyday speech, more informal in this case. Got to, have to. Got to is very like I've gotta go, right? It's very common in speaking, in everyday speech, but it's more informal. But grammatically, it's not a mistake. It's possible to use. And need to, I need to cut the grass. Necessity. Lack of obligation, we were talking about that also. Well, don't have to, haven't got to, don't need to. But if I write here one, two, I'm gonna write one example. For example, if I say, sorry, let's write like this. Hmm. Let's say, if, oh, come on. If I write this one, what is the difference among these examples? Do you think it's different or exactly the same? What do you say about these examples? Hello, are you there?
Maybe the first one is not natural, but the second is since the born.
Since he was born. Yeah, in some ways can be, but not necessarily. Because he has got light green eyes is exactly the same as the second. He has light
Sure.
green eyes.
Has got is a model. Yes, right.
Not really. Not
But
really.
when we use together,
Has got.
yes, or I don't remember if it's only got or the has have plus got get. I don't remember.
Yeah, but has got is in informal speeches usually, but usually Nazarena mentioned something about this. She said that has got he or she doesn't she has at not at the okay the color of these eyes since he or she was born, right? But in this case, probably it's the opposite. He has got like because since he was born, I think it can be like it's more common to talk about that in the first example. But both of them are the same, especially when we want to talk about has got or have. It is or has is. It is very in American English. It's very common to use has got and also has. and you will check that both of them are okay.
So teacher, we can say that both like has got and has is like a part of
The
our model of obligation. Eh?
no, not really, not
No,
really.
really?
No, it's different. Yeah, I was only trying to because I saw it here, right? This one haven't got right,
But
like I got.
as Karen said, I don't know, but we learned the model before that is that they have got to is a model of
Ah,
obligation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is yeah. Thank you. It's of course have got to right is different. Is related verbs similar to the modals. Sometimes we use the same as the modals, but only has got not with to is different. If you say uh, I have a I have a I have a blue car, and if you say I have got a blue car, is exactly the same. That was I wanted to explain. Yeah, but if we talk about like this, have to and have got to is totally different, right? Because that's a model, a part of a model of obligation, not exactly the model of, not a model, but it's similar and it works exactly the same. Yeah, maybe it was, it's confusing since I explained this because the only thing that I wanted to explain that's has and has got is there's no difference with that.
But teacher is only when the verb get is in this time.
Mhm.
If we say has get, it's wrong, right?
No, it's the same when you say, oh, let me explain. I have got, right? Yeah, but of course got. I don't say get, right? Yeah, usually got.
But only got.
Yeah. But has got to or have got to is completely different, right? But not get.
Okay.
Mhm. Okay, let's continue. Well, what else we have here? Models used for advisability, right? It's very common, like should, shouldn't. You should tell them everything. Ought to. You ought to tell them everything. You ought not to. Had better. All of models are for advising somebody, to advise someone or somebody. And also there are some models to express criticism and regrets, right? But this is a bit special because we use to regret something, you can say, I should have studied more, right? Or I should have done, I should have gone um, like that. You should have studied more. You were wrong not to do so, right? For regretting, should have done, shouldn't have gone, whatever, but past participle of the verb. I shouldn't have told him that secret. I regret telling him. Or I ought to have done, she ought to have stopped drinking beer. Or we ought not have changed the color of the room. Okay, these are some examples of, for regretting, it's very common to say, right? Like this kind of examples. I don't know if you can do a regretting example, please, guys. Could you say something like let's pretend you're regretting about something. And speaking is very common also to use that. What do you say, Karen?
Um, mm, you should have paid attention in classes.
Yeah, you should have paid attention in classes. Yeah, you can give the reason if you want, right? But the sentence is good. Just to have
Okay,
paid.
okay, because you had bad grades.
You had bad grades. No. What about the other students? Could you do the, or can you do, sorry, not could you?
Maybe you should have bought the tickets before.
You should have bought the tickets before, yeah. Uh-huh. Because of that, you can say you you lost your flight or something like that. I don't know. Any
It
other?
was are expensive, are
Ah,
more
yes.
expensive
Yeah,
than,
yeah,
yeah.
of course. Is it this? Is it the same when you take long flights, Nazarena?
Sorry?
Is it the same? Does it really happens when all also in uh, for long flights? That happens. That is similar, right?
Yeah, depends, I think.
Because over here, I don't know if you know this one. I think everyone knows. In La Paz, when you take flights, it is more expensive usually to go to fly take a flight from La Paz to Cochabamba, right? And it's a bit not very expensive when you take a flight from Cochabamba to Santa Cruz. It is even larger. The distance is longer, right? Larger, sorry,
To Santa Cruz?
from Cochabamba, right? If we
Really?
compare, yeah, if we compare La Paz to Cochabamba, it's very close.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
I know the main reason is because a pilot explained me that is because to La Paz is impossible to go with a full plane for the heights and mountains, and it's really difficult to like to drive the plane. So, for example, for Santa Cruz, you can go with the full plane, but with to La Paz, now it's impossible.
Yeah, but have you asked yourself why?
But for me, it has sense because otherwise the company have to compensate the same amount of money. That's why it's more expensive. So for the company, it doesn't matter if you can fool all the plane or not with
Yeah,
this quantity of people that they have to earn the same money at the same time.
yeah, but why do you think it's very difficult to go with more passengers or less? More difficult with more people to, I don't know, Cochabamba to La Paz.
Maybe they hire is you mean Cochabamba La Paz Cochabamba, right? That
Yeah, yeah,
road
yeah, yeah,
they hire in La Paz.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's related, but especially it's because of the jet fuel, the combustible, because in the altitude there is less oxygen, and if you go down a bit lower, close to the sea level, you use less combustible, less fuel. I think in this case, I don't know if the pronunciation is correct, but in the altitude you need more. It must be the combustion is higher, and that's why it's expensive. Also, that's one reason why they cannot go with more people. It must, otherwise they will spend more and more oil to flight in the altitude. That's why also that's the reason. That's yeah. You said the one you said is correct, but there is a reason, and the reason is because in the altitude there is so much less of oxygen, and for combustion is very difficult, the process of combustion, and that's why you spend more oil than in the lower areas. Did you know
And
that?
wow, I realize now, but the combustible depends of the number of people. I don't know. It's just a question that I.
Yeah, no.
No, I don't think so. Or yes.
If it is heavier, of course you need to, the plane
Yeah.
must do more effort,
Yeah. Yeah.
and in
Yes.
the altitude there is less of oxygen, and of course they will burn more oil.
It makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, because we study those kind of things in for metal casting and chemistry, combustion, combustibles like gas, oil, solid uh, combustibles, and something like that. Yeah, that's why even here the in La Paz, especially in El Alto, the water boils with. It's interesting. The boils with the less temperature, like I think 74 Celsius degrees. Water boils, and in Santa Cruz is completely different. And in Cochabamba is quite similar, but yeah, different. But of course, in the sea level, it's gonna be 100 Celsius degrees, right?
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're talking about some other field, but anyway. Yeah, because somebody mentioned about that. Ah, yeah, there was. I was asking. You have to do one sentence uh, with regretting, right? I think somebody already done, have done. Who was? I think I don't know if you, Lucia, did you do your?
With shoe, right? Yeah. Uh. 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 I don't know. You should. You shouldn't have. Mm, no. Yeah. You shouldn't. Have signed that document.
You shouldn't have signed that document. Yes, but you did,
Yeah.
and you lost the not the jury, the trial. We say right
Yes.
trial. Okay. And did you do, Nazarena, your sentence with? Ah, you did, right?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. Modern and related verbs used to talk about certainty, like on present and future. He must be rich. I'm sure he's rich. I think we check that as models of speculation or models of, yeah, speculation, I think. Or he must be rich. She must be waiting for him. I'm sure she's waiting for him right now. It's a speculation or possibility, right? Models of possibility, or sometimes we also say call them models of certainty. If you're 100% sure, if you're less sure, 50%, 25%, or you're not sure, right? In that case, we use can't when something's less likely to happen, or impossible. You can be hungry. I'm sure you aren't hungry because maybe you saw him or her eating. Right? In this case, can be like you can be hungry. He can be listening. I'm sure he isn't listening now. And be bound to you're bound to pass the exam. I'm sure you will pass it. Bound to is also be bound to is a related verb, not a modal verb, but related verb, something like over here we have need to, right? Or like be able to, all of them are related verbs, but usually we use in similar context of modal verbs. And also modals used to talk about certainty in the past. But, it must have been love. I'm certain it was love. He must have been waiting for you. I'm sure he was waiting for you, right? And can't. He can't have understood what I said. I'm sure he didn't. Or she can't have been waiting for you. I'm sure she wasn't. And the last one is couldn't. He couldn't have understood what I said. She couldn't have been waiting for you. Okay, but to talk about certainty, but in the past, right? Modal verbs in the past. And also modals used to talk about possibility, present and future. Jake may not be in his office. Those are also models of speculation, right? And might not. It might rain soon. Perhaps it will rain soon. And he might not be telling the truth. Perhaps he's not doing so. They could have a car. It's impossible they have it. She could still be working. It's probably she's working now. And well, used to talk about possibility. In that case, the same, right? Something similar. We use they might have got lost. It's probably they got lost. She might have been waiting long. Yeah, I think we check these examples, right? She might not have known about it. Perhaps she didn't know about it. She might not have been telling the truth. In speaking, it's also very common to use these models of possibilities, especially when we want to, when people speculate about something, right? But as you can notice here, is talking about the past and including have, right? Like using past participle of the verb. This is what kind of tense is this one, girls? Can you tell me the structure with, for example, the first one? They may have got lost. Present perfect, past perfect. What is that?
Teacher, what do you mean with the structure?
Yeah, this is structure, for example. I mean,
When you say subject plus verb or like that?
yeah. To which one? What kind of structure is that? Is it present perfect, past, past perfect?
Present perfect. No, yes, no.
Yeah, right. They may have got.
But
Imagine
we
that
can, but got is not gotten. Or we can also use got. I don't remember with this verb.
In this case, in this example, they may have got is like have got, right? But the verb is lost.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Right.
Yeah. And over here also the verb is she might have been waiting, right? Is the verb, the main verb. And she might not have known. This is the main verb is know, right? Yeah, if we think a little bit about the structure, like as you said, the subject, modal verb plus, in this case, plus not, plus have, plus in this case, it's about present perfect. It depends. It depends on the context. They could have left. What about this? Is it present perfect? In this example, they could have left.
Yeah, present perfect, and the second is present perfect continuous also.
Yeah.
But Professor, in that examples, I have a question also, is that when you have when these models are in the perfect tenses, is the meaning of possibility. But for example, if these models are in like in not in the perfect tenses, could be not like another kind of possibility, or yeah, that's my main question.
I couldn't get it, but not very well. You mean
Oh, I can repeat to be more clear. For
sure?
example, we talk about possibility if with these models, may, might, or could, and the structure or this possibility of these models are in the perfect tense, right?
Yeah,
According to the examples. But it means possibility. But when that models, the same might, may, might, could, are not in the perfect tenses, is also the like, I mean, the interpretation of possibility, or is something that you have, it depends of the contraction, or it depends of the way, not just a possibility, maybe more certain, like you are 100% of sure, or what depends of what does depends of that?
good question. By the way, we use present perfect. We say present, right? But when we talk about present perfect, it's about the past.
Mhm.
And yeah, you said that if we don't use present perfect, that is models to talk about present possibility, right? And if we use present perfect or present perfect continuous, is about the past possibility.
Mhm.
Yeah, the possibility in the past, the possibility in
So
present
for perfect tenses is
about the
possibility
past,
about
possibility
the
about
past
the past.
possibility.
Yes.
Okay. And if it's just present, is
I-
possibilities in the present. That's it.
Yeah, in the present. Yeah, in the present. Because
All
it's
right.
maybe is the word can be maybe not possibility. Yeah, it's also possibility. I was about to say something, but yeah, possibility, present possibility, right?
All
And
right.
this, yeah, present perfect and present perfect continuous usually are for past possibility.
Thank you, Professor.
You're welcome. So will as more verb is used to talk about future, of course, right? Also, opinions, beliefs, hopes, and predictions, and also there. Yeah, over here to express offers, promises, right? Usually, politicians will say, "I will do this. I will pay you. I will." Yeah, there is an election. I think, yeah, elections in Brazil now, right? Two
Yes,
possible candidates,
Yes.
Bolsonaro and Lula da Silva. Okay, but anyway, the politicians talk about will, right? And probably mm, boyfriends and girlfriends, right? I will give you the moon or something like that. Anyway, but also for predictions we use will, right? You can say in 2050 we will be able to communicate with our minds and not talking. Prediction, right? There are, even when we talk about future, there are a lot of futurologists. Have you heard about Michio Kaku? Maybe Sadhguru? Have you heard about them?
no, personally, no.
No, teacher.
No, teacher.
Yeah, they are like scientists. Michio Kaku is an American, but he is Asian. Well, he was born in the U.S., but his parents were immigrants from Japan, I think. Michio Kaku is very interesting. He has a book. His book is called, many books, but the one that I read is the physics of the impossible. It's crazy. It's interesting. He talks about future. And the other guy is Sadhguru. Sadhguru is also a very crazy guy. He has a very interesting philosophy about life, about everything. And once I saw there was a video in Russia. They invited him, but before the war, before everything, before pandemics, um, they were invited to talk about future, and they talk, but based in the real facts. He says a lot of things like human genome will be modified and people will live like Venus. Have you heard about Venus? Is a mythology, right? A
Yes,
perfect body, and Venus is all, how can I say, immortal, right? She never dies. She's healthy. She's beautiful. She's pretty. Something like that. And he says that according to the science, in the future, probably humans will be able to achieve that, to fix, yeah, even like to modify human genome, and like people won't get old there. They will be always healthy. I don't know, a lot of things. And yeah, something like that. It's crazy. I gotta, yeah, there's an interesting video about him, but you have to look for uh, Michio Kaku. That's a crazy guy. He's a physicist. The other one is Sadhguru. He's also the other crazy guy. Okay, anyway, sorry. But talking about promises, agreements, it's possible to talk about future. I will, sorry. And to express decisions, right? But at the moment of the speaking. Otherwise, we use going to, right? For to talk about future. Like I'm going to study in that university. It's something that you plan, but at the moment of speaking, we only say like, uh, "Who's gonna answer the phone now? Is ringing. I will do it." Right at the moment of speaking. Well, anyway, also to express decisions made at the time of speaking. Right? Did you call mom? I forgot. I'll call her now. So at the moment of speaking. In first conditional sentences, If she phones, I will tell you. Yeah, first conditional also we use will. Like there are usually result clause and the if clause, right? And will and shall. Will is used with all persons. Shall is used with I and we mainly to express suggestions. Shall I close the door? Shall we go to the theater tonight? Right. Usually with I and we. For suggestions, to express suggestions. And of course, will is for with all of them. Like I'll come soon. You will get you will get me that pill. It probably won't show. Oh, sorry, it's not tomorrow. We will help you. So, yeah, but before we move, I wanted to. I don't know if we have some time. Yeah, we still have some time. I wanted to show you this. Give me like a couple of seconds, please. We're gonna watch something short about the one that I mentioned. Okay, where's this? This one. Bridge, no. Falkirk. Not this one. It's called Technologies of the Future, but let me share, just play for you for a moment. And I will send you the link.
From
Can you will listen this for a moment and you will tell me what do you think, your opinion. Oops, but I think the speed of my internet is not really good at this moment.
everybody thought that the future would belong to cars, but it turned out that internet and IT drive the today. So what will shape the tomorrow?
If our ancestors
Can you listen the
from
audio?
1900 could look at us today,
Yes.
what would our ancestors think of us? They would think of us as
He's Michio
wizards,
Kaku.
sorcerers, the ability to have magic mirrors called the internet, flying carpets called jet airplanes. So that's how our ancestors of 1900 would look at us today. Now, if we could see our descendants in the year 2100, what would we think of them living in 2100? I believe, as a physicist, and as someone who has interviewed over 300 of the world's top scientists for BBC television, the Discovery Channel, and the Science Channel, I believe that our descendants will resemble the gods of mythology, Greek gods. For example, Venus had a perfect body and was immortal. Already in medicine, we are not just tackling diseases, but we are enhancing and perfecting the human body and also isolating the genes which control the aging process. We have already isolated about 60 genes which control aging. We cannot reverse it yet, but I think that by 2100, we may have the ability to have not just biological immortality of some sort, but also digital immortality, which I'll talk about in a second. Then we have Apollo, the god of the sun. We will have solar power cheaper than fossil fuel technology of today because of revolutionary developments in batteries and storage. And we will also have fusion power. Already we believe that within 15, 20 years, we could have the first operating fusion reactor in southern France. And so we will have the power of the sun, Apollo, the god of the sun. And then Zeus was the father of the gods who could simply think and have things come true. That will be the future of brain-computer interface. For example, the internet. What will be the future of the internet? The internet of the future will be BrainNet. We will send memories, feelings, emotions, sentiments on the internet. Already in animals, we can now send the first memories in mice and now in monkeys on the internet. Very soon, we will be able to send memories to Alzheimer's patients to create a brain chip. You will push the button and memories come flooding into your hippocampus. And so that is the internet of the future. When we send emotions, feelings, thoughts on the internet, and this is going to change everything. Entertainment, for example, will no longer be based on television or the movies. It'll be based on feelings that we can send on the internet. For example, when silent movies made the transition to talkies, that changed entertainment when we had movies that could talk. Now we will have movies that not only can talk, but can also feel and have sensations. And then we had Mercury, the god of speed. We will have supersonic transports, commercial supersonic transports, prototypes available in 2025. NASA has already stated that they want blueprints from Lockheed Martin and other manufacturers to create a supersonic commercial jet that has no sonic boom. The sonic boom is the reason why the Concorde was a failure. Supersonic jets, a failure because of the sonic boom. We will use supercomputers to solve that problem. And then...
Okay. What do you think about that video? What would you say? Just a short speech of Michio Kaku about future.
Teacher, this person is a scientist.
Yeah, he's a physicist, he's a scientist, yes. He's a professor in one of the universities of the United States.
For me, it's interesting that he talks about the gods and the technology of the new technology and the development of this the development of the technology.
Yeah, right. He talks about the future. Usually, I don't know if you noticed, when we talks about the future, he says it will happen that, it will, right? It's very common to use will. Okay, thank you. How about you, Lucia? What do you think about this short video?
For me, I'm agree with the technology issues that they mentioned, and that are things that will be happening in the future, maybe, yeah, because technology it's a big field that every day grows in a insane form, in an insane way, and it's amazing. But with the thing that I'm quite thinking about that, it's about the mix with feelings and with emotions, that sometimes technology can be together. And for me, it's something that I don't know, maybe because it's according my form, I don't know, the uh, career that I study, or according my profession, is it's really different, because for me that part, that social part of human beings, uh, are not are so independent, are so freedom. And that's why, I don't know, for exactly science you can say, yeah, 2 plus 2 always is
Yeah.
4, but the mind of human beings, today we can think in green colors, and tomorrow we can think in potatoes. So it's so different in an everyday change. And yeah, for me it's a challenge for technology that I don't think we're going to achieve at that level. I don't know, maybe, but I don't know, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, it's just a person's opinion, right? Even if he is a scientist, I think he cannot exactly predict what's going to happen. But I think it's just an opinion, probably. Who knows that that will happen or not?
Yes.
Okay. How about you, Nazarena? What do you think?
Yes, very interesting, teacher. I think that um, also will change a lot of things in the biological part of the humans, because we, how he was saying, will change in many ways. And also when was talking about the feelings that you can feel when you can see a movie, for example, or you can talk with someone, or if some person have a disease like he lost the memory, he can feel again that emotions, that feelings. And I think that is very crazy, is also nice. And how was saying, as was saying Lucia, was it's very interesting for some professionals too. For example, a person who is um, 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 I don't know, someone that is hiring to in a company, you can feel uh, what is she saying, if she's lying, if she's telling the truth, or what how function her mind. So I think that also is very interesting in that way. And also talk about the energy, solar energy, that will be more easier for our devices. So I think that if we use very well that kind of energy, we can approve that, and also use more technology things, and not only a cell phone, not only a computer, if not more things that will be very helpful in every day. So I think that is very interesting, and all will change very fast. Even, yes, that's it, teacher.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, Nazarena, for your opinion. So I think it's time, but please, I already sent the poll for this class, and also I will send the other one, please. You help me with that. Don't leave, please. Let me know if you finish, and I will send you the other survey as well, the second one. Did you check the poll?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, teacher.
Okay, now please let me send the other one. There's this. Okay. Here, this one. Okay. Well, while you are checking the poll, so it was really a pleasure to meet you. Very nice to meet you, and well, I hope you get something out of these classes. This is the last class of this level, so thanks for being part of these classes, and keep studying your English. I think you are about to finish, right? There are only 3 more levels. So you have a really good level of English and continue working like that. And thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, teacher. Goodbye.
Thank you so much,
Bye-bye.
Professor. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, teacher. Have a good
Bye.
night.
Have a good night, Karen. Have a good night, Professor.
Bye, Lucia. Have a good night too.